Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Not really sure when you're watching,
Welcome.
but welcome to Pastor's Corner. I am Pastor Kelly Milne from the Bridgewater New Church in Bridgewater, and this is my cohort and colleague, Reverend Dr. Donna from the Elmwood New Church, right down the street here in Elmwood.
Yep.
And today, first of all, what do we say, number 23?
23, yeah.
23 shows behind us, 22
Yeah.
behind us. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty good. So thank you for watching us, tuning in. And, well, we're going to do what I want to do.
We always do what you want to do.
Oh, we kind of do. But we wanted to talk about free will today.
Yep.
And our choices and how that all works together for our lives, for others.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to, again, we choose topics that are kind of big.
Yes. We could do 3 hours at a time.
Well, yeah, probably between the two of us. But I actually have recently done a sermon on free will. And if I'm doing something that we don't really talk about an awful lot, I will always bring up a definition first. So we have a place to start.
Yep.
So one of the descriptors that I used was that free will is a gift from God.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a responsibility from God. And free will allows us to choose between good and evil,
Yes.
and essentially heaven or hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the normal non-pastoral person thinks free will is. Oh, I just get to choose whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it.
And that's very true.
Yeah.
Many, many people really believe that they have total free will. And I always say to them, of course you do. But there are consequences to all of your choices.
That's right.
And there are people, however, I want to just put a caveat in here. There are some people who are into the throes of addiction, and that does compromise their free will unless they get help.
Right.
But in the normal public of people who run around making decisions for their lives, everybody has a choice. And what I have learned is that if it's a gift from God, then there are constraints on it. Because if what we want to do is get into heaven, which is where I want to go,
That's my choice.
then the decisions we make in this natural world will impinge on where we go into the afterlife, whether it's heaven or hell.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I would hope most people would want to be in a heavenly type of place.
Mm-hmm.
But I really love our theology because it talks about our loves, guide our choices.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be, I think, conscious of what I'm choosing, who I'm choosing to be with,
Yep.
who am I following, am I leading others?
Well, especially in our particular brand of work.
Right, and that's a big responsibility,
Yep.
for sure. I know that I try to instill in my Sunday school kids. I have age 7 through almost 14. Very wide range. However, they all benefit by talking about how we treat people,
Yes.
how we choose to treat people. It's very, I don't want to say funny, I guess it's ironic to see the different developmental levels
Yes.
of how they approach treating others. But we try, to instill in them to choose good.
Right.
I always told my kids, make good choices. And they'll go out the door now, they're in their 20s, make good choices. And that's really, what it's about,
Yeah.
From our theology that I thought was a pretty good statement is that doing what is good because one freely chooses or in one's will to do it, and that those people enjoy that freedom who are led by the Lord.
Yes.
So if we have that love,
From the Lord.
because the Lord is love,
And wisdom. Right.
yes, always,
Always. They go together like a horse and carriage.
they do. That makes us want to shun the evil
Yep.
and do the good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I also, during my sermon, wanted to think about those Bible stories or characters in the Bible who made some choices.
Yes.
First one, Adam and Eve. So a lot of the time we hear the men will say, oh, well, it was her fault because she offered the apple. Guess what, guys? You had a choice. Adam had a choice.
Yeah.
He really did.
Eve had a choice too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The
They
only one of that whole cast of characters that apparently didn't have a choice was the snake.
Never really thought about that. But yeah, he did his thing.
Constrained by his own personal stuff.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, so their choice led them out of the garden.
Away from the second tree.
Yeah. Yeah, and that just started. You can find choices that match yours
Yeah.
all through. So many. Trying to figure out which other ones I had. Oh, the Israelites always turning back to idols. Always going back to worship idols. Now, I don't necessarily think the golden cow was a bad thing.
But the worship of it was.
The worship of it.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. My favorite word in Yiddish, it applies to them wandering in the wilderness for 40 years after they got through the Red Sea.
Okay.
Because they were complaining, kvetching. Because, gee, at least when we were back in Egypt, we had a place to sleep and 3 meals a day. And I just get a big kick out of the fact that they're free. They're no longer enslaved.
No.
But now they're complaining because they have to have manna from heaven. Just enough for everybody. And you can't hang on to it because it goes bad the next day. You have to wait until the next day to get the new manna from heaven. It's exactly what you need. And they're complaining. I think it's hysterical.
It is. Because we as humans, all through time, have done that.
Yep.
We think we want something better. The grass is always greener.
And we make choices to get there, and then we're not happy.
Just be happy. Just be happy where you are. Another thing I found interesting is that free will is never taken away.
Oh, no. We give it away.
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely do give away our free will.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's not taken.
no,
from
it's a
us.
gift. And
Yeah.
it depends on how we use it, guided by our experience and our reason. And, you know, I'm going to probably say this, I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again, that the nature of God is the marriage of divine love and divine wisdom in its entity,
Yeah.
which means that you can have too much love and not enough wisdom. So you can do some harm. Or you can have too much wisdom and not enough love, and you can still do some harm.
Right.
So the idea is to have that perfect balance, which is what God has as his essence.
Right.
In his divine wisdom, and he had to love other than self, because that's what love is,
Right.
loving other than self. So we are required to love our neighbor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So God had to create something to love. That's us.
That's us.
But in his wisdom, he also knew that he could not constrain us to love him back, because that's not love.
No.
That would have been control.
Right. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
are free to love him back. And it's what I call closing the circle.
Mm-hmm.
He gives to us, we give it back. And to me, it makes more sense than any other description of God I've ever run into. But it also leaves us free to not love. And that's a
right.
choice that many people make. Not to love the neighbor.
Right.
There's a line, I can never remember chapter and verse, but there's a line in the Bible somewhere that says that we are supposed to love our neighbors as we love ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that little kind of preposition, as, means that we have to love ourselves first,
That's right.
or we can't give it away. Any more than God can give us love if it isn't a part of his nature.
Right. Right.
So having free will means that we have a rational form of looking at our neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I love everybody. I'm just
Exactly.
saying we've got a choice.
We do have a choice. Yeah. A choice every day,
Yep,
you know. But we've got a little bit more to talk about
yep.
when we come back from our break.
Good.
Jessica, we need to leave right now.
I need to get something. Dance recitals are so boring.
There's a meaning no one knows. Wait until we set
So,
free.
what's the empty suitcase for?
The grand prize trophy.
Duh.
Confidence. Pass it on.
I was born to be somebody.
I joined the National Guard and never thought I'd be saving lives.
It's more than money for college. It's built my character and given me a sense of accomplishment. Now I'm on a career path and I'm the leader of my team.
I put on the uniform and I have a whole new outlook on life. Country, community, family. That's what matters most to me. If that matters to you, go to 1-800-GO-GUARD.com.
Welcome back. We are talking about free will today, and we've just been discussing really how it's a choice. It's a choice every day. It encompasses God's love and wisdom. And we talked about some of the, characters in the Bible who had to make some pretty big choices.
Yep.
So I kind of have 5 points that we pretty much talked about. My first point of love requires choice. Choosing to obey or disobey.
Right.
And that, to me, basically means, am I going to love the Lord? Or am I going to not? And if I do, I want to obey what is said, guiding us throughout life. The second point that I had was that we are called to obedience.
Oh, yeah.
We're called to that. Going along with your statement of God creating us.
Yeah. He's constrained by his own nature, and we are too.
Right. Point number 3, we kind of hit on this, that free will does come with consequences.
Oh, yes. It's not really free. Well, there are consequences of every choice.
There are. And sometimes we have to live by the consequences of someone else's free will.
Yes.
Yes.
If we are connected with them in any significant way, we live by choices that our elected officials make, for instance.
True.
We live
True.
by the choices, and if we don't like those choices, we have the free will to go and say, we don't like your decision,
Right.
and we want you to change it. That's our free will.
Yes.
They also have the free will to say, no, thank you, we're going to go ahead and do what we're going to do. So the idea of free will can come up against somebody else's free will. And that's where we end up with negotiation. And we end up compromising with certain aspects of life.
True. True. I remember telling my kids, there was some turmoil in our family at one point, which I'm sure every family goes through. And my kids weren't quite old enough to understand. And the only way I could explain it to them that they did understand is that there are times we have to live with someone else's choices, that it will affect us, and it's not our fault.
Right.
It's just it happens to be that way.
Right.
And I like to hope that that helped to them.
Yeah.
To understand that not everything, if it's negative or bad or whatnot, is our fault, because it's not always.
One of my favorite examples of free will was Viktor Frankl in his book Man's Search for Meaning. He was a concentration camp captive. He, I believe, was in Auschwitz. He watched his entire family get gassed. They kept him alive because he could work. And when he wrote the book, he said that he was depressed. Now, he was a doctor, but he was depressed and emaciated and everything. But he finally came to the realization that they could do whatever they wanted to his body, but not to his spirit or his attitude. That he was free to choose that attitude, which kept him alive until they got him out of the concentration camp. And I've used that on several occasions to talk about the absolute freedom that we have in our spiritual life, in our choice of how we perceive good or evil. And how other people are treating us does not have to mean that we lose that free will. I have decided in my old age that there are people I have hung around with in the past who are very toxic individuals for me.
Sure.
And I don't have to do that anymore.
No, you don't.
No. So I now choose to be around people who are positive, who have that sense of commitment to do to others,
Right.
you know, and for others. And that has only come with age, you know. I wish I had had this when I was about 25.
It would have been a little bit different.
Different choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, different attitudes, yes. Yeah.
But sometimes our choices, which kind of leads to this next point that I wanted to make, is that no matter what our choices are, that God is still working through them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's, you know, I describe, you know, people say, well, how do you know where you're supposed to do? Where you're supposed to be? And I'm like, hey, my path goes like this. And then sometimes it goes like, you know, but I always get back to where I'm supposed to be. And if I'm really listening,
Yeah.
we might hear that call. And in our industry, our career
Yes.
paths,
Yeah.
you hear quite often, you know, that you're called into
Absolutely.
the ministry. And that's so true.
It is true.
It's so true.
If you go into the ministry for any other reason, you're not going to be happy
No.
because there are demands on our time and our talent that sometimes we get tired. And yet we still have to
Yes.
be there for these people. But if you can't pay attention to what's going on, I was in a big corporation at the age of 36, looking at trying to be the first female vice president, when three things happened in my life that were so transformative, that said, you're on the wrong path. You're not happy. You're going to work for a paycheck. You're on the wrong path.
Right?
So I went to seminary to become a minister,
That's
which I
right.
never in my life dreamed I would do,
Right.
ever.
Right.
But if you can pay attention to those calls, those messages, when they happen, it's very transformative.
And when you're open to listening, it's so clear.
Yes. Yes.
It is right there, right in your face. And if you don't listen, if you feel like, well, what if I don't listen and I'm going to fail? You can fail 100 times.
Absolutely.
But you can also come back.
I may have even shared this before, but I have an image of Jesus. He's about 20 feet in front of me at
10 o'clock?
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And his whole attitude is, this way, over here. You'll do it better. You'll feel better. Come on. And I'm free, you know? And I will sometimes go in that direction and everything works out. Or I go over here to like 2 o'clock
Doesn't go
because I think it's going to be a better way. And I get all kinds of disappointments and attitude problems and everything. And then, you know something? He's still standing there going, this way.
over here.
I'm right here.
Yeah.
So it depends on how we respond to that
Yes.
invitation.
Yeah.
And the other thing I love is George Dole said, I grew up with the Ten Commandments going, thou shalt not, as if it's a parental admonition to you're going to be bad. And George said, if you accept the first commandment that God loves you, you'll be so full of love you won't want to have to do the others. You won't have any desire to commit murder or adultery or
That's right.
swear against your neighbor, because the love will be inside,
Right.
and you won't have to do any of that other stuff. It was the first time I ever understood the Ten Commandments are promises.
It makes so much sense
Yeah,
that way.
yeah,
And I like to teach the Ten Commandments in the honor your father and mother. You know, the more positive, you know, treat people better.
Right.
And there's a whole list where it's, you know,
Yeah.
flipped for kids.
yes,
And it's fantastic.
yeah,
But going back quickly, you know, where God's saying, come on this way.
over here.
In the Bible, it talks about ask,
And you shall receive.
receive,
Knock,
and
and
the door will be opened.
Yes.
Well,
That's-
God's knocking at the door.
But we have to do our part.
We have to
This is a partnership.
Open the door. Yeah.
We
yeah.
have to go
It's
knock
our choice.
and ask. And
Seek.
that shift in my attitude at one time was the beginning of my transformation.
Yeah.
Was to go looking for that help.
Yeah.
And realizing the very first thing I had to admit was I'm not in charge.
It's a hard one for a lot of people. It really is. Because, I mean, as humans, I think it's hard for us to give up
Yeah.
any control or whatnot. But I know when I do, it's so much better.
It's not the last line of Micah, but it's the next to the last line, that what does God require of us but to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. Justice, mercy, and humility. They said it right. They can't improve on that. Those are our choices.
Those are our choices. So I would say on that note, I have nothing left to say. Well said. Yeah.
Yep.
So just remember, you do have choices.
Yes, and they make a difference in your life and afterlife.
Amen. So join us next time.
We have no idea what we're going to talk about.
We don't know right now. It will come up, but that will be our last before our summer break,
Right.
and then we'll come back in September.
Do you realize that's 2 years, 24? Next one's going to be 24.
I can't even think about tomorrow. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you again for joining
Yes.
us, and we will see you next time.
Yes. Amen.